Hey, yo, what up? It's your boy. It's probably no surprise to everyone who has watched at least one of my videos that I freaking love music. I heckin' love music, and I love all sorts of different types of music and exploring all sorts of different bands. And that certainly is also the case for a lot of Japanese music, which comes very naturally to me considering I was born and raised with a lot of Japanese music in my life. And as happy as I am that the world of anime has really helped in spreading J-rock, J-pop, and all sorts of Japanese music over to an international audience, there is a slight issue I have found with this type of spread of music, and it's the fact that a lot of people don't know or can't know how to find and explore and kind of see the wider world of Japanese music without the aid of anime. And don't get me wrong, there is a ton of musical acts that have used the medium of anime to spread their wings out in a really great way. Bands like Rin to shite Shigure, Asian Kung Fu Generation, singers like Lisa, musical acts like Linked Horizon. But as a deep lover and enjoyer of all sorts of Japanese music, I want to maybe push the backs of those who don't know where to go after anime. So I decided I'll quickly put together a little short list of 10 Japanese bands that I didn't find through anime which I would recommend to you guys. Now, this is not to say that these 10 bands and musical acts haven't done anime music. Some of them most certainly have, but I feel that anime and their contribution to the anime world is not the reason why they're being known and loved by an international audience, and it's certainly not the way I found them. A lot of these bands I A, grew up with, but also B, found as a result of kind of exploring through the swamps of the deep underground world of J-rock and Japanese music. And look, I'm not saying that these 10 bands you are going to immediately fall in love with, but is certainly something to consider if you're getting a little bit bored of your standard anime music. So without further ado, let's jump into it. These 10 bands are in no particular order at all. First off, we're going to start off with Polkadot Stingray, Japanese rock quartet here, playing a little bit of touches of indie and technical indie, as well as some J-funk. I first found them through a random YouTube recommendation of their music video for Synchronistica, which is a fucking explosive, super fun and catchy J-rock number. And not gonna lie, the reason why I kind of went down the rabbit hole of these guys is because the lead singer, the female there, Shizuku-san, is personally, I think, hot as fuck. Not only are all their music videos just super fucking aesthetic, but holy crap, the lead singer is so hot. She is like right in my strike zone when it comes to hot rockin' Japanese girls. And every single member of this band is super fucking talented, super fresh. Their iconography is also really cute, as you can see in this picture right here. Just a really feel-good band that plays a wide variety of J-rock subgenres. The second band right here is one that has definitely shaped a lot of my childhood, and that is the Ulfuls. Weird name, I know. It kind of sounds like you have a little bit of phlegm in the back of your throat when you pronounce their names, but nonetheless, these guys are a fucking amazing J-rock band, have been around since I believe the early 90s and still going strong to this day. And they have done, I believe, one anime opening. I believe they did the second opening to the anime Bobo 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 Bo, which is for one a big part of my childhood, especially the manga. It was one of my favorite comedy manga series growing up, and it's still really funny to this day. Their opening to that, Baka Survivor, is probably the most well-known song, but recently I feel like their older stuff is kind of resurfacing. Randomly, one of my friends just like told me that they had discovered one of the Ulfuls song, Banzai, which is was probably one of their biggest hits in Japan at the time. And that was really weird because I thought for the longest time I was the only one who knew this band outside of Japan, but it turns out, no, there is actually quite a large fan base for this band, and that makes me super fucking happy. Because I remember back when I was in middle school that I was obsessed with this band. I owned all of their CDs, and for the longest time I was like, these guys have like that perfect sound that is just so lighthearted and so fun and so uplifting that it could easily be used in at least an anime ending, let alone, you know, some of the more rockier tracks from early in the discography could definitely fit into like a 90s anime opening, but alas, they never got that kind of exposure to that side of the entertainment industry, but they were still huge in Japan at the time, and just a really underrated, I think, J-rock band. Just real feel good, has a lot of like kind of classical rock and roll elements to their sound as well. And yeah, just a really fun rockin' band to listen to on like a nice Sunday afternoon. The third band is a little more experimental, but I feel is probably more well known than the first two, just because of the fact that I think they have a bigger fan base outside of Japan than in Japan, and that is Toe. Yeah, I know, weird name, but nonetheless, fucking amazing experimental post-rock band. A lot of this stuff fits more into the instrumental side of things, with every now and then having some vocals as well. A lot of math rock elements. The drummer, holy crap, this fucking drummer is so insane. Like, he must have had like some jazz training or something, because holy crap, his fills are orgasmic. And yeah, just some of the more mellower tracks as well, some of the more jammier tracks are just so freaking nice to listen to. This is not necessarily like an ear-grabbing type of sound. Definitely kind of borders more on the sides of math rock, and even a little bit of ambient and experimental at times as well. Some of the more dronier tracks that they have are a lot more mellow and low key. But yeah, if you love Japanese math rock, if you love your Japanese post-rock, definitely hit these guys up. The fourth band is a little bit of a throwback to the more punkier times, to going back to my more punk phase, and that is the Blue Hearts. Now, this is a band that is essentially described as like the Sex Pistols of Japan. These guys are a big reason why Japan in the 80s had this massive punk phase and kind of brought the punk wave to Japan. Their debut album, the self-titled, is one of the most important punk albums in Japanese punk history, and it's just filled with so many fucking good songs. You've probably heard of songs like Linda Linda and Train Train that have been incorporated into all sorts of different like games and media from Japan. You know, a lot of, if you've ever played like Taiko no Tatsujin, that drum game, Linda Linda and Train Train is usually on all versions of those games because it's just such a fucking jam. But even some of the more mellower tracks as well, some of the more ballad-like tracks by these guys are also really hard-hitting, especially considering the fact that when you read into the lyrics written by Komoto Hiroto, guy second to the right there, his lyrics are just something else. It's so simplistic, yet it speaks so much volume to the mentality of the youth who listened to this kind of music, especially back in the day. This is the kind of punk that is not necessarily like anti-politic or like anti-system, but is more so, you know, treating it as like a type of nostalgia feel, you know, kind of incorporating elements of like, you know, what it's like to grow up, the struggles of being a youth, the struggles of letting go of your youth, dreaming big, but also holding on to the reality of your life. It's some real hard-hitting shit, almost poetic in a way. And when I was young and I was listening to this stuff, it really spoke to me. The fifth band, we're kind of going back more into the experimental side of things, and that is Te. Super fucking simple band name, impossible to find on YouTube just because of how short their band name is. And another interesting dichotomy of this band is the fact that although their band name is so short, all of their song titles read like a fucking light novel title. One of my favorite songs by them is, in the English translation, "The convulsive beauty in the sound is a wild horror that goes beyond the idea and visits the body." That's a real song title, by the way. They have a bunch of this stuff on Spotify, and it is just, all their song titles are wild, but it doesn't really matter about the song title. They kind of use this like over-the-top long song titles as more of a parody type of thing, because their strengths definitely lie in their music. It's a nice mixture between post-rock, experimental rock, even bordering on a little bit of post-hardcore, with just how fucking tough and hard-hitting and just how fiery they go. It's just some crazy experimental instrumental post-rock, and it's wild. They even incorporate like a little bit of shoegaze in a lot of their sounds as well, so if you're into any of those genres, definitely hit them up. Next band, also, I found through the process of going really deep into the Japanese math rock side of things, and that is Tricot. These guys, or these girls rather, except for the drummer, these girls are fucking rockin'. Catchy, melodic, serene Japanese math rock that is just so good. Like they incorporate a lot of like pop elements as well into the sound of math rock, which just sounds so weird because you think that the song is going to go in one direction, but then immediately when they throw in the more math rocky side of things, the song just goes in a completely different direction that you would never be able to expect, but it's still just as good. If you're into bands like This Town Needs Guns, then think of this as the Japanese equivalent of that. All the band members are fucking great. The lead singer's voice is just so thin yet so serene. It just like goes, it pierces through your eardrums and goes straight to your goddamn soul. And again, just a really fucking solid math rock band. Not all of their songs obviously are like, you know, in the math rock genre, but they definitely incorporate a lot of that sound and style into their music. So if you want like a Japanese math rock band that's not like too over the top, not too insane when it comes to time signatures or, you know, unexpected groove and stuff like that, try out Tricot. Next band is kind of moving away from math rock, but definitely staying more on the experimental side of things. Can you tell that I'm into those kinds of genres? Is Hachijyuu Hakkasho Junrei. It's really difficult to describe their sound. It's like experimental rock with a little bit of, again, post-hardcore with a little bit of math rock, but it's also just really good, like kind of garage punk, I guess. It's really difficult to explain. These genres, by the way, must sound fucking crazy for anyone who's like not into music, but just trust me. These guys sound good. Really massive sound for a three-piece as well. Just something about Japan and three-pieces just work really fucking well. Like, I haven't included it in this list, but like Rin toshite Shigure, for example, is also a three-piece, and they sound huge. I don't know, I don't get it. Japan is just really freaking good at making huge sounds out of three-pieces. A lot of the riffs, a lot of the grooves, really eccentric, really out there, really bizarre as well. But if you're kind of bored of like more traditional J-rock and stuff like that and want to, you know, try something else, I definitely recommend these guys. You can't really find them on like Spotify. I think there's like one song of theirs on Spotify, but they have a lot of music videos and, you know, music things on YouTube. So if you just look them up on YouTube, should be no problem. I found at least like 10-20 songs of theirs on YouTube, so just go check them out there. Next band is another one that I found randomly off of YouTube recommended, and that is Suspended Fourth. These guys are just a straight cutting, just hard rock, fucking like punk, or almost like at times like grungy type of band, and holy crap, they also go way too hard. And what can I say about the drummer, who is the guy on the right with the glasses, looking swag as fuck, has such a simple kit and yet has such a good fucking groove, goes super hard on the fills as well, and just this entire band just knows how to fucking party. And again, is another one of those bands that I'm surprised hasn't been incorporated into anime yet, because I've heard a bunch of their songs that would definitely fit into an anime opening with just how like intense and groovy and just like exciting it is. I don't know, maybe because they started off as kind of a street band and have only really just kind of broken out of the underground world, like just like kind of peeped their head out of the underground world in due time. If you're watching this in the future, I don't know, maybe this band or maybe some of the other bands in this list might have an actual anime opening. I digress, but as a fellow musician, I appreciate these guys' sounds, and I also appreciate the subtle musical reference to you know, suspended fourth chords. You know, that's a musical term that they've used in their band name. That's pretty freaking cool. The ninth band is, again, another band that I kind of only recently found out through a friend of mine, and that's Otoboke Beaver. All girls, Japanese punk band that goes so fucking hard. I'd probably have to say that out of all of the entries in this list, this band probably goes the absolute fucking hardest. They are so hardcore when it comes to their punk. They put the hardcore in hardcore punk in the Japanese punk scene, faux show. Some of their songs even border on like noise rock and like even a little bit of like grindcore. It's crazy. If you're like a metal or a punk fan and you just want to hear some real good, loud, vibrant, like just explosive, like riot girl punk styled music, then please check out Otoboke Beaver. Their recent album was freaking fantastic, and I think my favorite song by theirs is Don't Light My Fire. That music video as well is just like, I never thought that a 360 camera could work in a punk rock music video, but these guys proved me wrong. And the 10th and final artist that I would like to recommend is not actually a band, it's just an artist, and is an artist that as a musician I highly respect, and is actually a musician that kind of started or got me interested in learning how to sing, and that is Mr. Ozaki Yutaka. I kind of like to see him as like the Kurt Cobain of Japan. Not just because, like Kurt Cobain, he's part of the 27 Club, as in he died at the age of 27, unfortunately, but also because of his, I guess, like, attitude towards songwriting, his attitude towards fame, and just how much of an impact and influence he left on future musicians. This guy is kind of like a singer-songwriter, kind of bordering on like acoustic, folky, soft rock type of J-pop, but holy crap, some of his songs and his lyrics just hit me so fucking hard. Songs like Shelly and I Love You were the bane of my existence when I was in middle school, when I first found out about this guy. But actually, my mom introduced me to this guy. And let's just say, my mom has some fucking fantastic taste in music. Because although conventionally, this is not the style of music that A, I really grew up with, or B, I listened to in large quantities, this guy definitely made me appreciate, one, lyricism in Japanese songs, and two, just like the whole singer-songwriter aspect in Japanese music as well. I mean, I do like my fair share of singer-songwriter music in English-speaking world, but until Ozaki Yutaka and a couple of others, I'd never really like focused on it too much on the Japanese side of things. But yeah, if you ever come to karaoke with me, I'm singing at least one, if not 5, Ozaki Yutaka songs, because his voice is just so like raspy and so full of emotion that, like, you don't even have to understand the lyrics. You don't even have to understand Japanese. It gets the tear ducts just opening. And yeah, he's just a really fucking cool dude. What a fucking badass musician. So yeah, there you have it. That was just 10 Japanese bands that I would recommend to you guys. There are certainly a lot more than 10, but I also don't want this video to go on for 70 million years, so I might do a part 2 of this if you guys enjoy it. So if you do want a part 2, then hey, smash that like button, I guess. And again, there is no like disrespect to people who only listen to Japanese bands that they found through anime. I mean, of course, it's the easiest method to find new Japanese music. And I found a lot of fantastic Japanese bands and artists and stuff like that through anime openings, through anime music. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just thought, there are also a lot of bands and artists who, unfortunately because of their style of music and because of, I guess, their, notoriety, don't really get the chance to be in anime. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys and talk about them a little bit, because I love all 10 of these bands and musicians that I incorporated in this video, and I hope you guys go check them out and let me know your thoughts about any of them down in the comments below. But thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smack my face right here to subscribe to the channel. Let's keep making big channel number go bigger. Over here next to my head is a couple more videos you can check out as well if you enjoyed this one, and you can follow your boy on Twitter, Instagram, all that is down in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!